Okay, hey though, LeafeonLove bringing you today for my 250 sub special. I'm using all evolutions against my friend xxboyceyxx, or not really my friend, but you know, whatever. So he leads off with Aerodactyl, I lead off with Espeon, he misses the Stone Edge, and I go for Psychic, and of course this thing is sashed. Of course, you never see an Aerodactyl that's not sashed. So I switch out here and go in the Leafeon, because I know it can take a Stone Edge, and you know, Stone Edge misses, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I don't know how I don't know how Leafeon is faster than an Aerodactyl. But yeah, he sends in Heatran. Of course, he'd send in a Fire type. I switch into Vaporeon, and he goes for, I don't really know, I forget what he went for. And he switches out and he goes on to his Grass Rotom. And I get the Surf, and that got a critical hit, but that's really good damage, even for a critical. So I didn't feel like staying in there, so I switched out and went into my Flareon, and he did a Pain Split, probably predicting the switch. And he got a lot of his hit points back, and I get poisoned by my Toxic Orb, and my Guts is activated. So he switches out into his Heatran, expecting the Fire Fang, and of course, he gets the Flash Fire up. I get the Toxic Poison, but that's not much. So he uses Flame Charge, probably predicting the switch, and I'm like, you're not going to see a switch, boy. And I go for Superpower, and that kills off Heatran. So it must have not had a lot of defense into it, because, I don't know. It may have, I don't know. So yeah, Heatran goes down, I get the toxic damage, and he switches out into his Latios. Predicting the Surf, I switch out into my Umbreon. I didn't want to switch into Vaporeon, because for some reason Vaporeon doesn't have an ability, so that sucks. So I get the lefties, and that doesn't do much. He switches out into his Tyranitar, and this thing it's annoying. And I go for Payback, and that does nothing, because, I mean, why would it do anything? I get lefties, and of course I'm going to switch out here, because who would want to stay in? I mean, Midnight doesn't have anything on it. Switch in the Vaporeon or Vaporeon, whatever you want to call it. He gets some Stealth Rocks in there, predicting my switch. I get leftovers. And he, of course, switches, predicting the switch. I go for a Toxic, and I get the Toxic on the Rotom. And, you know, I'm thinking that he's going to rather predict my switch, or I can probably take the next move. So, yeah, so I stay in there, predicting him to do Pain Split or whatever. But he doesn't. He goes for Thunderbolt, but I take that really well, really well. I have lots of HP and special defense in that. And that Ice Beam, of course, kills him, and he goes down to an Ice Beam. Then he goes into a Zapdos, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm just going to stay in there and let me die. I don't have to 6-0 this guy. Though I want to, that would be really funny if I did. So I switch into Espeon right here. And then I go for Psychic, and this thing must be one of those bulky Zapdoses that annoy the crap out of me. And he goes for Thunderbolt, and I'm like, oh yeah, Espeon can take that, and I'm like, whoa. Espeon can take that? No, that's not cool. That's not cool. So I switch into Umbreon right here. He just lets me die. He doesn't let me die. He lets himself die, but he gets Parahacks on me, and I'm like, seriously? But I got Synchronized, but he has a Lumberry. I have no idea why that's on him. But I didn't get Parahaxed, and I get the Payback off. I get buffed by Sandstorm, but my lefties cures that. He switches into T-Tar right here, so I'm just going to let myself die, not knowing what he has on it. He has Superpower. I was predicting Brick Break. So I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Superpower. It'll lower his special. Not special. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm high today. I don't know. It'll lower his defense, so I go into Leafeon. because I know I'm faster, and I know my Leafeon's like really good with attack. And I get a crit. I don't know if that mattered or not, but I killed the Tyranitar, and he goes into Latios. And he makes a fatal flaw here. I know this Latios has Ice Beam on it, but he's probably predicting Swords Dance and goes into his choice specs. But I was going for my X's right here. And yeah, so he kind of made a mistake, but he has leftovers on him, so that kind of sucks. But he made a mistake right there. He could have easily won if he went for Ice Beam or Hidden Power Fire. I'm sorry, he has Hidden Power Fire. I don't know what I'm saying. So, he gets buffed, and then he gets the lefties up, and I hear switching to Glaceon, my unused Glaceon. And I know this thing has Hidden Power Fire, and this thing has little special defense EVs on it. But I live that, and I'm like, yes, I live that. And yeah, pretty much that's the game. Good game, Sam, and